Let's start with wastewater engineering. Here we'll start with wastewater characteristics. So these characteristics can also be divided into three parts similar to the drinking water, that is physical characteristics, chemical characteristics and biological or microscopical characteristics. So let's see all of these one by one, starting with physical characteristics. First physical characteristics, let's see color. So for the fresh sewage, for the fresh sewage this color is gray, or we can say it is light brown. And as the time passes, so as the sewage is kept for 3 to 4 hours, then the DO that is dissolved in it, it will be completely used by the bacteria. So that bacteria will be working to break the organic compounds, and then this color changes. So this color will change to, color will be black after 3-4 hours, and then this sewage is known as the septic sewage. So for the removal of color, it can be removed by coagulation and then sedimentation. After color, the next physical characteristics we have is odor. So for the fresh sewage, this odor is musty, but as the time passes, again the gases are there which will be released due to the bacterial action, and this the organic matter will be broken down. I mean the decomposition of the organic matter will be taking place. So because of that, after some time, this odor due to H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide, and other sulfur compounds is released. So you can remember initially the odor is musty, and then after the decomposition starts, that is after 3-4 hours, this odor will be coming, very strong odor will be coming from the sewage due to the hydrogen sulfide and other sulfur compounds. Next is temperature. For the temperature of wastewater in India, this temperature is around 20 degrees Celsius, and which is very suitable, or we can say ideal, for bacterial activities. That is, bacteria can break down the organic compounds or organic matter, so it is ideal from that point of view. But in general, if the temperature increases, so due to that, first of all, this the dissolved oxygen that is there in the wastewater, it will be decreasing, because as the temperature increases, the DO content in the water decreases. So apart from that, and this for this bacterial action, up to 60 degrees Celsius, this bacterial activity increases, and if the temperature is increased further, then this bacterial activities will be coming down. That is for your temperature. And then we have turbidity. So obviously the wastewater is highly turbid because it has different kind of impurities and suspended matter. So for the measurement, similar to the drinking water, it can be measured using Jackson's turbidity meter or turbidity rod. Or you can remember the turbidity is very high for the wastewater. So these are the physical characteristics. Next we have chemical characteristics. So first let's see the solids, that is total solids, and then we have suspended solids, and we can further say the satellable solids in that. So let's see all these one by one. These total solids, we can divide them into further two parts, that is your volatile solids and the fixed solids or non-volatile solids. So fixed solids are made up of inorganic matter, that will consist of sand particles or gravel or some small glass particle may come, etc. All these inorganic matter will come in fixed solid, whereas volatile solids will consist of organic matter, which may be made up of fats and proteins. These all come in the volatile matter. So for the measurement, so for total solids, some sample is taken and then it is evaporated, and whatever the residue is left, it is weighed. So that will give you the amount of total solids, and if we divide it by the volume of sample, then its concentration can be found out in the wastewater. And for the volatile solid and fixed solid, so this sample whatever we have obtained after evaporation, it is initially it is heated to 103 to 105 degrees Celsius for obtaining this total solids. After that, the sample whatever we have, and whatever is remaining after this evaporation, it is further heated up. So in that process, this volatile matter is there, it will be burned or it will be evaporated, we can say. So whatever will be remaining on this dish or in the container, it will be your fixed solid. So we can take the total solid and minus the fixed solid, that will give you your volatile solids. So volatile solids, because these are made up of organic matter, so they give the idea that how strong the wastewater is, because this is the matter which has to be decomposed by organic matter and by, I mean, by bacterial action or and by oxidation process. So it will give you the idea of how strong the wastewater sample is. If it is more, then it will be more strong wastewater. That is for your total solid. And then we have suspended solids. So suspended solids can be divided into two parts, that is settlable solids and non-settlable solids. So to measure the total suspended solid, some special lab filters are there, and using them, this size of the filter would be 1 1 micrometer. So that is the size of this filter, and using this, suspended solids can be filtered out, and we can weigh this filter or the residue which is left on it to find out total suspended solids. And for the settlable suspended solids, Imhoff cone is used. That is a conical equipment or conical container, we can say. So the total volume that can come is 1 liter, and these markings are there up to 50 ml. So this wastewater sample is taken in this Imhoff cone, and it is allowed to settle for 2 hours. And after this 2 hours, whatever the solids that have settled will give the approximate idea of this settlable solids. And for their proper measurement, this water from upper layers, it will be removed, and whatever is remaining in the lower part, it will be dried and it will be then weighed. So we can say it will be evaporated or and then weighed. So that will give you the settlable solid, and from this filter we have obtained the total suspended solids. So total suspended solids minus settlable suspended solids will give you your non-settlable suspended solids. Apart from suspended solids, some colloidal particles will be present in the water. So these cannot be filtered out using some filter, because this particle size is very small. It is between 1 millimicron to 1 micron. So these can be filtered out, and for their removal, we can simply, as we did earlier, we can do the coagulation and sedimentation. And for the measurement, obviously if we can find out the total solid and suspended solid, so whatever is remaining, that will be your colloidal solid. After this, next parameter we have is pH. So pH of wastewater, if it is a fresh sewage, then pH is on alkaline side. that is between 7.2, or we can say 7.2 7.5. This will be the range for the pH initially if it is a fresh sewage, and due to the, I mean after some time, due to the production of acid, and that acid will be produced due to this bacterial action. So these bacteria produce these acids and the pH starts to go down. So when the decomposition is taking place, then this wastewater pH is on the acidic side, and after the decomposition, or we can say the oxidation is complete, then again the pH comes on the alkaline side. So using this we can find out whether the pH is, I mean if we can see the color and pH, then we can tell if it is a recent pollution, I mean recently used wastewater, or it is an old wastewater. After pH, next, apart from that, one more thing that is there in pH is, if pH is very low or very high, it will tell you that it is, I mean this wastewater is coming from some industry. After pH, next we have chlorides. So chlorides in wastewater can come in from domestic sources and from industrial sources also. From domestic sources, because salts and all is there we use in kitchen, so that can be the one of the reasons of this chlorides. Apart from that, human excreta and urine both have chloride in it. So if it is a domestic waste, then 120 milligram per liter is the normal concentration that can be found out in wastewater if it is a domestic waste. And for the industries, it comes due to ice cream plants. Apart from that, if some industries or factories are there where salts are used highly, so for meat salting, this chloride will be more from that industry. And apart from that, some infiltration is happening, this infiltration can be there due to seawater, or if some groundwater is there which is high in chloride, then due to these reasons also chloride can come in wastewater. Next we have is nitrogen content. So for the measurement of chloride, similar to the what I mean we have already seen in water supply, we use the silver nitrate solution and we do the titration. That way we can measure the chloride content. Next is nitrogen content. So this also we have seen in the water treatment. From there you can see in detail. So nitrogen is present in various forms, that is ammonia can be there, organic nitrogen can be there, and then nitrites can be there, and nitrates can be there. So they will tell you the different stages of decomposition. If ammonia is present, that means the wastewater is recent or it is a fresh wastewater. None of the organic, I mean the organic matter has just started decomposing. And for organic nitrogen, it will give you the idea of how much undecomposed organic matter is present. Nitrite will tell the amount of partially decomposed organic matter, and these nitrates will tell if only nitrates are present, then obviously the organic matter has completely decomposed. That is your nitrogen content. Then we have these fats, grease and oils. So these can come from industries and from domestic sources also, because in kitchen it is we use oils etc. Apart from oils, some seeds are there or nuts are there, peanut or any nut, all of these have fats and oils. That can be one of the reasons. And from for these grease and other oils, these can come from many industries. They can come from garage and from workshops. So wherever machines and all are there, these grease can come from there. Factories, motor industry, if it motor factory, I mean motor vehicle factory, if it is there, then obviously oils and grease will be used. That can be one of the reasons. And so to measure these fats and oils, what is done? First of all, this wastewater sample is taken and then it is evaporated. and whatever is remaining in that hexane is mix hexane, and then again it is evaporated, and whatever is left will give you the amount of fats and oils that is present in the wastewater sample. That is about fats and oils. Remaining of the parameters we'll see in the next video.